Hey, Dr. Mike here. Is acupuncture right for you? Well, stick around to find out. We have a special guest, Dr. Gamliel.
You're listening to Live Foreverish, a show dedicated to helping you live just a little longer. Here's your hosts, Dr. Mike and Dr. Crystal Gossard.
All right, welcome to Live Foreverish. Dr. Crystal Gossard.
Yes.
Have you ever had acupuncture?
Yes. Once. I forgot. It was so long ago. One time. It was one of our colleagues. You remember Dave Whitty?
I do remember.
You do remember Dave Whitty.
Dr. Whitty.
And so he was a massage therapist as well as he was a doctor of Oriental medicine.
Yeah.
And he did a session for me, massage with some acupuncture. So it was mainly a massage therapy session
mixed in
a
with
little acupuncture.
Any suction cups?
No. Cupping wasn't a thing. Back then. I mean, this was years ago.
No, you guys are getting ahead of everything here. All of a sudden, there's this new voice that just popped up.
Yes.
I should probably tell them who that new voice is.
Yes, Dr. Mike.
Yes,
sure.
We have a wonderful guest, Dr. Gamliel. She is a naturopathic doctor and an acupuncture physician. She got her naturopathic doctor degree and master's from Bastyr University. That's one of the best.
Yes.
Hands down. Great place to come from. She has a private practice and corporate wellness practice in Broward County, and also provides holistic telehealth consulting services to patients all over the place. Dr. Ahuva, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here.
So now you can talk. 'Cause
Now.
Now people know you.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Now back to that cupping.
But that cupping, yeah, wait. But there's a reason why I asked Dr. Crystal that, because she tries everything. If anything comes down the line, a drink, a supplement. No, I don't mean
You say a drink.
I didn't mean. Well, maybe I meant like a whatever protein
Yes.
thing, shake, a supplement, an herb, a new technique. She's tried
I'm
it.
easily intrigued,
That's a good.
especially if I've read information, research that it provides benefits.
Absolutely.
I'm going to give it a try for sure.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
So, anyways, she's the guinea pig of the group. So, tell us a little bit acupuncture. I've never had it. I'll be honest with you. I don't know too many people who have in this country, but I know it's growing, right? So, give us a little background of acupuncture, a little history of it.
Sure. Well, acupuncture's been around for thousands of years. The actual origination of it is kind of debated. Some people think that it came from the monks in China, meditating, and then they channeled down this system of healing energy medicine. And there's another theory that it came actually from trial and error, from people getting hit in war and different things in different places in their body, and then realizing, oh, I got hit on my hand and my headache went away, and things like that. So it came about more empirically,
I kind of like that theory.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool.
yeah. And there's also a biblical origin when Abraham sent his son Ishmael east with gifts. Some people think that the gifts are the esoteric, spiritual, healing, energetic kind of medicine. So
like that
there's
too.
that theory too.
Wow.
Yeah, I like both those. I like the
I know.
second and third one. So war and gifts, spiritual gifts and stuff from Abraham. That's awesome. Yeah.
Wow.
So how did you get involved with this? Because I know, I think you had said, we were talking before the show, right? That you went to Bastyr. That's well known as a naturopathic school.
Correct.
That's what you went to go originally for, right?
Yes, primarily.
Yeah. And then then how did you also add acupuncture to that?
So similar to Dr. Crystal, I'm in the idea that if anything works, why not use it or try it? So if it could allow me to have another tool under my belt to help people in a natural, holistic, non-toxic way, then, I thought it would be beneficial. And I'm so glad that I did, as we were discussing also before the show, that here in the state of Florida, unfortunately, naturopathic medicine is not yet licensed. So I would not be able to practice as a naturopathic doctor, but in Florida, acupuncture physicians are seen as primary care providers. So we have a wide scope of practice as an acupuncturist here.
I blame Hollywood.
Hollywood,
Hollywood.
California?
Yes.
Hollywood. No, let me explain here. I blame Hollywood because I think a lot of people, when they've seen like in movies or on TV, acupuncture places and stuff, it's always drab looking. It's always
dark.
kind of dark.
Yeah.
A little dirty,
And
maybe.
hundreds of needles.
Yeah, like
and-
weird.
yeah,
Like, yeah. And so people see that. And guys, listen, Hollywood impacts us a lot.
Yeah.
And how we think and see things. So what are those real barriers then? Like when will this be more accepted across the country? When will acupuncture be seen as something where you can use medical insurance for and all that kind of stuff? And what's your vision there?
Yeah, I think that right now acupuncture is licensed in all 50 states. And in the state of Florida, we are able to bill insurance companies. So
Okay.
in my practice, I bill United, Aetna, Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield. So thank God for that. Like not every plan has acupuncture benefits, but it is something that patients can seek if they wish to.
Now, would you need a referral from a primary care physician, or does it depend on the plan?
Exactly. It depends on the plan. In some cases, they do need referrals, and it has to be proven as medically necessary. Like they couldn't just do it for weight loss or stress. They have to have like a condition that's been documented that they have a
real
history of.
diagnostic
So
code
what
type
type of
thing. Yeah.
conditions?
So acupuncture can treat anything from head to foot, from headaches to plantar fasciitis, digestive disorders, infertility. And so a lot of people associate acupuncture with pain conditions like
Right.
back pain, neck pain, knee pain, etc. However, we don't think of acupuncture for things like stress, depression, anxiety, things like that, insomnia. Those can all be treated with acupuncture, even menopause.
Well, I think that speaks volumes to the work that you do, because it is covered by insurance. It is accepted in the medical community. What's surprising is that people aren't taking advantage of it. Like people aren't doing it. And I wonder if they're just,
Maybe they don't know.
understand it.
Well, maybe they
Exactly.
don't know that it's covered by their insurance.
And they
stuff.
don't know the benefits of it. Like I said, a lot of people associate acupuncture with pain conditions. So you think, oh, I don't have back pain, and how can acupuncture help me with digestion? And actually, my first job when I left Bastyr University was doing acupuncture on cruise ships. And the way that we got patients was that on sea days, when people had nothing to do, we offered free educational lectures. So when people would come and say, oh, I didn't know that acupuncture can help with, constipation or IBS or something like that. And they are more open-minded when they're on vacation, like, oh, let me try something
Yes.
new. So they come in and then they're so like happily surprised that it worked because they weren't expecting
That's
it to.
great.
And then they can go home and find an acupuncturist in their area to continue.
Okay, so I'm going to sound like the dumb conventional doctor.
Well, that's
just
kind
went-
of a part of my next question is what's the deal with conventional doctors and why aren't they?
Well, that
telling
that
their
wasn't my
patients
question
that?
at all. My question is more about, okay, is it related to pressure points and stuff where you
Yes.
Okay, because it's a lot of people, I think you're right, when they think of acupuncture it's more the pain stuff, right?
Right.
But you mentioned anxiety, and I have a friend that has a panic disorder. And she can't always obviously get into her acupuncture and it works, but apparently it's somewhere in her in her hand. She showed me it. Of course, people on YouTube can see what I'm doing, but the rest can't. But you kind of clasp your hand like this, and where your thumb lands,
Yes.
and you rub that,
Yeah.
it calms you down immediately.
Yes. That point.
So was that where you would put maybe a needle?
Yes. So that point is actually on
Not
the.
so dumb.
It's
I
on,
didn't say that.
So that point is on the large intestine channel. It's called a large intestine 4, and it's what we call the panacea point, which means cure all. And it moves your chi, which is your vital energy, and your circulation. So in Chinese medicine, we have meridians, which are channels of energy all through our body. And when somebody has a panic disorder or pain or any like issue in their body, it's because the energy is stuck. So this point moves the chi, it moves the blood. If you have a headache, you can use it. A woman, if they have menstrual cramps,
She did here too.
yes,
Is there something there too?
That's pericardium 8.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for calming. That's a calming
That's
point.
another thing.
Yeah, for anxiety.
I'll see her a lot of times just sitting here, and
Yeah.
she's doing this, talking to people.
Yeah, and the way that you find that point is you take your middle finger, you bring it into the palm of your hand, and it's right where the middle finger
Yeah,
meets.
yeah.
And then you can massage.
Because
that point.
Okay.
she'll be in a stressful
Right.
situation, and she managed it, and she'll be doing this as she's talking.
Yeah. So for religious people that might be Christian listening, that's what we call the Jesus point.
Oh, nice.
So I'm learning something new right now because I thought it was all about the nervous system. and how, you have your spinal cord and then all the
Well,
nerves
but that's some
go
of it
out
too,
into
right?
the periphery. And
It's-
so you're targeting specific.
Is that okay? Let's back up.
Yes.
I think Dr. Krista and I need more education on that. So, okay, all right, take us to school for a sec. What exactly are you looking like when you have a needle on your finger and you're about to place it somewhere? Why are you deciding to place it there? Like, is it nerve? Is it these plexi? Is it like, what is it?
So I'm absolutely not trying to touch a nerve. That would be very uncomfortable for the
Right.
patient. They would jump. So we're putting it into the fascia or the muscle. It just depends on what area of the body we're treating. Like, so for example, if we're treating the ear, it's cartilage, but we don't go very deep. There's also different lengths of needles. So the needle could be like half an inch, 2 inches, depending on where we're going. So for example, for sciatica, the needle can be very long because we want it to go in pretty deep in the glutes. So like I said, different size and also different gauge. So not only the length of the needle, but the breadth of the
Right.
needle. So usually we like to go as thin as possible in America because people kind of shy away from pain. They don't want to feel it. They don't want to be uncomfortable. In China, it's practiced differently. They use thicker needles and patients are not afraid of pain. Maybe the mentality is different there, like the no pain, no gain.
Yes.
They want to feel that it's working, that it's doing something. They don't want to feel like,
I kind of get that.
yeah.
I see that.
So there's two sides of, but they both work. So that's the interesting thing is, so what it does is it stimulates. So I think this is more answering your question, like how is it working? What are you doing with the needle? So it creates kind of like a micro tear in the tissue by inserting the needle, and that awakens the body's like healing systems, the circulation of like, we have an injury, we got to go in, we got to send in our fighters to repair this injury. So we have the red blood cells, which are bringing in the oxygen and the iron. We have the white blood cells, which are bringing in the natural killer cells, and the macrophages, which I like to call the Pac-Man cells. They come up and eat any cellular
Yes.
debris or anything that shouldn't be there. So we have all kinds of healing, elements inside the blood that are like coming to heal that area. So we're kind of like bringing the body's awareness of like, oh, this area needs to be healed. Let's go in there and do what needs to be done.
Yeah, it's like you're adding a little stress.
Yes.
That allows the body. That's that hormesis effect type.
Right.
That we talk about a lot
Yes.
more in conventional medicine.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that cleared up everything. That completely makes sense to me, which leads me to the next question about the research.
Yes.
What are there any landmark studies or anything that any research that you can share? And I'm sure there has to be. Because it's accepted in the medical community. It's covered
Right.
by insurance. So, and I know insurance companies, they will not cover
Well,
something that.
and in this country, right? We don't follow the anecdotal evidence as much as we do.
Correct.
What's that real claim? Because
Right.
there's like in China, maybe they accept more of the anecdotal evidence, which is fine, historical. But in this country, your MD stuff like that, they're gonna want where's that hardcore
Yes.
science?
It's so interesting that you say that because my experience in Chengdu, China was the exact opposite. Like even though acupuncture and Chinese medicine has been there for thousands of years, they want to do what's new and trendy and conventional medicine is only about 200 years old, but they think in China that that's like the best, the gold standard. And so they don't necessarily do as much acupuncture in China as they want to do Western medicine. So there are...
That is, I wouldn't have thought that at all.
Yeah.
Very
Wow.
interesting. Yeah. So when you think of, you've mentioned a lot of things already, a lot of pain disorders, for instance.
Yeah.
What is that where you focus, or do you'll treat anybody that needs help basically, or is there a specialty that you follow?
So I have a specialty service, which is homeopathic injection therapy, which I use homeopathic anti-inflammatories such as Zeal for people who have pain conditions. Like let's say they've tried steroids, NSAIDs, cortisone, for example, to manage their pain. As we know, that only puts a temporary Band-Aid over the problem. It does not heal the problem. It does not address the root of the problem, whereas the homeopathic medicine allows the body to heal itself from the inside out. So those homeopathic injections are something that I specialize in doing, and as an acupuncturist, it is a specialty certification.
So can you explain homeopathic medicine? I mean, we have to, we have listeners that may not know
what that is.
what that
exactly,
is.
Okay, so homeopathy is based on the principle of like cures like. So you give a little bit of something in order to antidote. So, for example, if somebody is allergic to bee stings, the homeopathic remedy for that is called apis, and it's derived from the sting of a bee. And so what they do is they take it and they dilute it and dilute it and dilute it until there's no actual substance. There's no actual, like, you can't find the sting of the bee inside the pellet or the drops, because it could be formed in a liquid or drops that you take under your tongue. It's just the energy of that thing, and then that helps to combat the allergic reaction to bees. So that's that. But I do want to circle back to Dr. Crystal's question that she asked me earlier that I didn't get a chance to answer about research.
Yes.
So it is very important to do what we call evidence-based natural medicine. So we don't go based on theories, ideas, like, oh, maybe this will work. We do want to provide a service that is beneficial for people.
Yes.
Ultimately, we want results. Right. So the best way to kind of research if acupuncture is good for you and your condition or your concern or maybe your relatives, there's a website called pubmed.gov.
Yes.
Okay, and you go on that website, pubmed.gov, and you type in acupuncture and whatever keyword it is, sciatica, headaches, menopause, whatever it is that you're wondering about, and then everything that comes is peer-reviewed journals. So that's the gold standard of Western medicine today. So it's been, tested by, the conventional medical society. And then you have articles. And some will honestly say that it's good. Some might say it's undetermined whether it's beneficial or not beneficial. And some may say our study showed that it didn't help with a certain condition. But you do have tons of resources available online at your fingertips.
Yeah, and I think that's an important point because I think, is a misconception when you look at natural medicine in general, that there's just not the research supporting it.
Well,
and there's
you see that
research.
just with supplements.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's where we specialize in disseminating all the clinical trials in supplementation. And doctors still look at me. My colleagues still look at me from Texas. There's no research supporting that. It's
Yeah.
Here,
What do you mean? Here's 200 studies.
Here, I won't even overwhelm them.
Yeah.
Here's a good 5. Just take a look.
Right.
It's like,
Exactly.
Let me ask. So you went through a lot of official training. You got your true master's from a great university. But are all acupuncturists out there at that same standard? Or do you worry that there are some practicing acupuncture that maybe need more training? What's the word, sham acupuncture? Is this an issue?
Okay, so that's a really good question. And there are studies that have shown that sham acupuncture, which for those listening who don't know what that is, it's like fake acupuncture. It's like, let's say this point here is good for headaches, but I'm going to do a point over here. Like, how does that help headaches, or does it? Sometimes sham acupuncture does stimulate the placebo effect. The patient thinks, oh, I'm getting acupuncture, I'm going to get better. And then they do. That's the power of the mind. And so from my perspective, whether it's sham or placebo or acupuncture, I don't care, because the end result is the same. The patient got better.
Yeah.
So what was your question again?
Well, is there a group
the
that
training.
regulates
Yes.
more the
Absolutely.
training
So to be an acupuncturist in the United States, it's a master's degree program. So you have to have a bachelor's in pre-med. So all the basic sciences, biology, chemistry, organic chemistry, physics, all of those classes you have to take, and then you can go to master's in acupuncture. However, there are people who, chiropractors, physical therapists, MDs, who take CEUs in acupuncture. Maybe they only get 40 hours of training. So they might do like trigger therapy. So if somebody has neck pain or shoulder pain, they know the trigger points for that, but they're not trained in like internal problems such as menopause and IBS and, things that are a little bit more complicated to treat. They might be able to do pain management, but they have such a very limited, 40 hours versus a 3-year master's degree.
Right.
It's not the same level.
And when you get your master's, then is there a board, like a licensing board, you have to go through?
Yes, the Department of Health regulates it.
See, right? See, everything you just said right there. What do you think, Dr. Gray? I don't think a lot of medical doctors know
Right.
a lot of what you just said.
Right, because they think that it's maybe like a 9-month certification
It's
program, like massage.
It's like online. You
Yeah,
go online,
exactly.
Become an acupuncturist.com.
Right.
You know, it's like you go on and you're done. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a complete program.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's really nice. What are some of your just looking at your own practice and stuff? What are some of the more interesting cases you've had?
Well, one case that stands out in my mind, it was a very challenging case because I had never treated this condition before, and I did not even know if acupuncture was going to work. It was a gentleman who came to me with macular degeneration. And as you know, that conventional medicine has nothing for that. There are some supplements that do help with the health of the eye, but macular degeneration is very challenging condition. And it usually goes one way from, getting it to getting worse and not the other direction. So this gentleman came in, it was when I was working as an acupuncturist on a cruise ship. And I told him the truth, I told him, I don't know if this could be beneficial or not, but let's give it a try and see what happens. So he came in, he was very open-minded. And we did points around the eyes, bring circulation to the eyes, bring healing to the eyes. And to my surprise, and it gives me the goosebumps today, we did 10 consecutive treatments. So one treatment every day for 10 days because, again, we were on a cruise ship. We had limited time, before we had to disembark. And towards the end, he said that he had black circles in his visual field that they went away. And for him, that was life-changing. That was amazing. And I didn't expect that. I didn't even know that it was capable of doing that. But I just said, acupuncturists and any types of healers, we're just vessels for, the only real healer, the divine healer, So if I could be that channel, and if the universe or whatever your spiritual belief, Mother Nature, God, whatever you want to call it, if it's the universe's will and the patient's will and everything aligns and it happens, we just help the body to heal itself.
Are you going to go back to the cruise ships? Because that sounds really cool.
I honestly,
I need her to stay in South Florida so that I can become a patient. Thank you.
The funny thing is that was between 2004 to 2006. I still dream about it, but I currently have 3 teenagers, and I think they would be really mad if I just left. But I did write a book of when I was an acupuncturist on a cruise ship. It's on Amazon and Kindle. It's called Fantastic Voyage, and it's a woman's pursuit of truth, meaning, and beauty. So
Fantastic Voyage.
That's a fun
available on Amazon. Go check that out. Not everybody can do acupuncture.
Right.
It's a skill, right? So who can't do it? Can I just go in there, you think, and take some classes like the MD?
No, Dr. Mike. I mean, if you go
CEUs.
through.
Well, I would have to
The official
imagine.
training.
The point I'm making is that there's probably some natural skill to it, but it's just practice, right?
Right.
You practice it over and over.
Yeah.
You have an attending that's watching over you as you grow.
Right.
So you would you would love to see this grow, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. You learn with experience. You do intern with other more experienced doctors, and then it's your own ability to feel and perceive where's the pressure points. There are landmarks. Like, for example, there's a pressure point in the wrist, and how you find it is you find the crease in the wrist, you go down 3 fingers, and then it's between the tendons. So there are landmarks to help you find the points on the body. But you know what? In China, the most skilled acupuncturists, you're not going to believe this, and I'm glad you're sitting down, they're blind. Because
That's
they feel
pretty-
people who are blind, their other senses are more developed.
Right.
Yeah.
So they really have a sense of touch and feel that's much more developed than ours.
You know what's interesting? I'm gonna make a connection back to conventional medicine to that. Some of the best diagnostic physicians ever were the ones when they didn't have labs and stuff. They were true clinicians. They touched.
Yeah.
They felt. They could
smelled.
They
Yes.
taste it.
Yes.
They
Yes.
taste it. Between all of that and taking a really listening, they were better at diagnosing than than they are now with labs and stuff.
Right?
So I kind of get that. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
So is
Very nice.
acupuncture for everyone?
Well, There are certain conditions where, like, for example, in the state of Florida, as we mentioned, it is regulated by the Department of Health. So we are primary care providers. We can help people with any condition except you have to have a primary oncologist if the patient is a cancer patient, and you can utilize acupuncture for the side effects of chemotherapy, radiation, all of the unpleasant, loss of appetite, loss of hair, loss of energy. All those things can be addressed with Chinese medicine, including acupuncture. But we can be primary care for high cholesterol, high blood pressure, gynecological issues, and all of those other things.
So how long is a session? What can people expect?
So the sessions are usually between 45 minutes to an hour. The first session is usually longer because we have to take a more in-depth history, et cetera. And then the follow-up sessions are just what's new, anything changed, and things like that. So it's a lot faster. But the needles stay in the body for about half an hour. And that's because it takes 28 minutes for the blood to circulate around your entire body. So we want to make sure that the entire blood moves around the body. And then we also give recommendations often for nutrition, what to eat, what not to eat to address the person's condition, which supplements to take, herbal medicine, and also things that they can do at home, such as stretching, exercise, baths that can help with their condition.
Very nice. You're listening to Dr. Ahuva Gamliel. She is a naturopathic doctor and acupuncture physician. Dr. Ahuva, if a listener wants to learn more about you, check out your practice, how can they find you?
My website is drgamliel.com. So it's spelled DRGAMLIEL.com. And I'm actually in the process of shifting more from acupuncture in my office in Hollywood, Florida, to providing telehealth and wellness services worldwide, because I want to be able, that's one of the things that the pandemic kind of opened up is telehealth. I want to be able to reach and help more people across not only the United States, but anywhere in the world. If they want to improve their health with nutrition and supplements and herbal medicine, I want to be easily accessible to everyone.
Yeah, very nice. Well, thanks for coming on today.
My pleasure.
Fantastic topic.
Thanks.
I'm going to become an acupuncturist now. Crystal.
You can take CEUs if you're still keeping your degree active.
And she'll be my guinea pig.
No, I won't.
I really, it's fantastic, and it's great for me. This was enlightening because I learned a little bit more that it is more regulated. There's structure to the education. There's structure and licensing to the practice. I mean, that's a lot of stuff that I think people don't realize.
Yeah, and we do have to keep our degrees active. So every 2 years, we need to take 30 continuing education units. So it's not like you just do the 3-year master's and you're done. You have to constantly be learning.
And that's how it should be through any type of medicine you practice, right?
Yeah.
So that's fantastic to hear. Thanks for coming on again.
Pleasure.
You're listening to Live Foreverish. Don't forget, you can go to liveforeverish.com. When you go there, there's a ton of other episodes you can download. When you do that, like, share, comment, and subscribe so you never miss a show. As a matter of fact, on liveforeverish.com, we call it the 1-2 punch. Where you can put in your email. We probably should come up with something better than that. Put your email in, and you join the family of Life Extension and Live Foreverish, and then you can also subscribe to the show from your favorite place that you like to listen to podcasts. Yeah. LiveForeverish.com. Go check it out. I'm Dr. Mike. Thanks for listening. Hey, Dr. Mike here. Is acupuncture right for you? Well, stick around to find out. We have a special guest, Dr. Ahuva Gamliel.
You're listening to Live Foreverish, a show dedicated to helping you live just a little longer. Here's your hosts, Dr. Mike and Dr. Crystal Gossard.
All right, welcome to Live Foreverish. Dr. Crystal Gossard.
Yes.
Have you ever had acupuncture?
Yes. Once. I forgot. It was so long ago. One time. And it was one of our colleagues. You remember Dave Whitty?
I do remember.
You remember Dave Whitty.
Dr. Whitty.
And so he was a massage therapist as well as he was a doctor of Oriental medicine.
Yeah.
And he did a session for me, massage with some